And you are watching another edition of Blitz Blitz. As you guys know, if you follow me on Twitter, an absurdly busy week for me. Getting Jets film out, Jake Asman show, doing a film breakdown there, doing my own film breakdown of the game, doing my own short film breakdown of the game. And then I just did a short film breakdown of Brownley. I always want to say Jason for obvious reasons. What the hell is his first name? I just did an entire show on him. His first name is Jarvis. Just did a short breakdown of Jarvis, so that'll probably be out tomorrow, which is Friday or Saturday. So if you guys like the short version, go and watch that. If you want the entire version, then go subscribe. $3 a month. Even if you don't want to, helps me out. So do that. You get all the stuff on YouTube that's locked. $5 a month for the entire site. So I'd appreciate it. Obviously, been grinding this week quite a bit, and I plan on doing it for the rest of the season. I plan on doing this. And by the way, I worked all those days, so this has been stupidly busy. I just told the story in the subscribers version of the full film breakdown of Brownley. It's been like couple of hours of sleep a night, max 4 or 5 for 5 days now. I was going to brush my teeth before bed the other day, and I ended up just holding a toothbrush and a soap bar. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck am I doing right now? I'm like, this isn't how you brush your teeth. So I'm exhausted just mentally. So if I'm just like stupid and forget terms and people and where I am right now, then forgive me. But a little bit of a late stream, obviously, right? I'm trying to squeeze this in. Been busy as hell. So yeah, we're rocking a 10:30 stream. I'll stay on until 11:30, 12, something. We'll see how the chat is. Appreciate you guys. I'll ask permission to speak about the game. I know some people last week were angry when I spoke about the game, and not the positives, but like I was negative because the game sucked and people were like, move on. It's like, okay. So for those people, I'll give you the show. Yeah, a few good things. The comeback was good against the prevent defense. McNamara was good. Folk made his field goals. Q was good. Sherwood and Quincy played a little bit better this game. Garrett Wilson, a few nice catches. Mason Taylor was involved. And see you guys later. We'll see you at the Dolphins game. You can now click off those people. And for the rest of the people, we'll talk about the actual game. Say hello to some people. We'll talk about individual positions, all that stuff. Appreciate all the support, all the comments. I know that at this point in the season, it's like, it just feels like we've been here before. And like I talked about with Jake, it's just crazy. Like you do all the stuff as a content creator or whatever the hell you want to call me, whatever the hell I do. And the views drop like 500%. You put out videos with like a couple hundred views where a month ago, they're getting 3, 4, 5,000. So it sucks a little bit, but for the people who are here, if you are here, be even more supportive because it makes it worth it. We just put out a video, 600 views, but like 34 comments. So just keep commenting, help me out. I definitely appreciate it. A lot of work, but thank you everybody for being here. No doubt. I have a feeling this would be one of those epic. I don't know if I have an epic rant in me, honestly, Eagle. We'll talk about it. I'm sure one will come out as you guys throw some stuff in the chat and I react a little bit. I could say right off with the Glenn stuff, and I'm not just going to rant right off the jump, but the same old Jets thing, that's the title of this. They're not the same. Like they have to prove that they're the same old. They don't have to prove that they're the same old Jets. Let me rephrase that. They have to prove that they're not the same old Jets, right? Like he's saying, "Oh, we're not the same old Jets." He doesn't know what that means. One, bullshit. He knows what it means. He's been here. He's been tracking the Jets. He wants to be here. He knows what the same old Jets is. It's them losing, and it's them losing in horrible fashion. It's them getting blown out. It's them not showing up. It's them getting beat by what should be 50-3 by a divisional opponent in week 2. It's them coming out and it being 13-6 and throwing a pick 6, missing tackles. Clemens being all over the field, face mask, 7 guys in pursuit on Bucky Irving, and guys just taking peewee angles to the football, which I could show some of that, but like just embarrassing levels of football. So instead of trying to attack the media and the media, you guys do your job in terms of taking this negative. It's like, how else are you supposed to take the first 3 weeks? The first game, cool, moral victory for us. Like, cool, yeah, 1-2, whatever. We lost the game. Week 2, you look like shit. Week 3, you look like shit. Yeah, you had a comeback, awesome. But you were getting beat by 2 scores there. Unless McDonald makes one of the best plays in Jets history, that's going to be kind of forgotten now because it didn't end up in a victory. So, like, don't attack the media and, like, the fans and be like, oh, not the same old Jets. Like, no, how about you win fucking games? And then we'll stop calling the same old Jets. Win games. They should have at least one win right now. At least. If the defense can take its head out of its ass, we would have won last game, a miracle comeback. We would have won last game. And same thing with week one. You had 3 blown coverages for touchdowns. I could take it, and it's not a lack of effort thing. I've seen the lack of effort thing on Twitter. That's bullshit. They're trying. But it's the miscues. It's just blowing simple coverages and stuff. So they got to fix it, no doubt. The next couple of weeks, you got the Dolphins, the Cowboys without their best player on offense with a shitty defense. You got the Broncos who are 1-2. They played, I think, some decent teams. You got the Panthers, the Browns, and all that stuff. So the next 6 games, you're playing some favorable teams. Win at least 2, if not 3, if not 4. If you want to be really taken seriously, win 4 of those games. 3-3, I would sign the dotted line for right now, but at the minimum 2, the minimum. So the same old Jet stuff pissed me off from Glenn. Just win games. What else is the media supposed to do? Just coddle your balls and tell you how good you are? Like, no, you're 0-3. Sorry. Harry W. Hello, my Jets family. What's up, Harry? Greg Rollo, what is up? Late, I'm going to throw out some more expletives. It's 10:37 at night. Mets won for my Mets fans out there. I don't know what's the deal with the Reds and the Brewers. The Phillies had to win, right? So the Brewers had a chase. Anybody can update me on that would be great, because I know we want the Brewers to have to play for something against the Reds, and the Mets play the Marlins. So if the Mets win all 3, we're fine. But we need hopefully at least the Brewers need to play a game or 2 hard against the Reds. Mets won tonight, so that's good. Need them at least to make the playoffs. If not, then absolute wolf. But got that in the Cardinals game with the pretty gross looking jerseys on right now. What's up, Greg? What's up, Crispy? Goat. Appreciate that. Or just maybe you're the goat, but either way, appreciate you being here. Bill M, what is up, dude? Joe, you made the right call not going to the Bucks game, not because of the game itself, but because of the sun plus the field feeling like 120 degrees. It was brutal with tons of Jets fan. Yeah, it seemed like the Jets fans, like I think Jake said like 30 to 35% of the fans, and I heard it on the broadcast. It's not about like not going to the game. It's because of the Bucks or anything like that. It's Florida in September. Nope, I hate the heat. I despise the heat. And 2, I got a young kid and I'm already busy with work and then doing this for however many hours a week. I'm not going to try to put my wife in that bad of a spot. I'll start traveling more to like those type of games when I got kids who are in school and stuff. I'm not putting as much pressure on my family. Just getting a little bit real for a second. So I'll be doing more like shorter trips, New England's, Baltimore's, Washington, like that type of stuff, Philly in the next couple of years. Crispy, I want to stay and watch live, but I'm delivering tomorrow, and I'll appreciate having this to listen to it much more. Godspeed. Gentilquist. All right. I never heard Gentilquist, but I like it. Again, a little bit late night, Mr. Crispy, but I appreciate you. And I hope that when you're listening to this tomorrow, it entertains you for an hour and a half. That's me on Ambien. Where are we going here? I don't know. That's me on Ambien. Like me being, holding a toothbrush and a bar of soap. Yeah, dude. Like my schedules, I work midnights now, as you guys know. Midnights, wake up, take care of my kid all day. He goes to sleep. I typically lift. And then from like 9 to 11:30, I'm doing film stuff, and then I go to work, and then I just do it all over again. That's been 5 days in a row. And then, doing Jake's show, film breakdowns, all that stuff. So yeah, it's been nonstop, 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night max, which I was talking to somebody about it, but it's like, it's just funny. I think people are extremely soft nowadays. Like you get people are like, oh my God, I flew on a flight from Jersey to California, and like, it really's been screwing up my sleep schedule. I'm so tired. I'm like, oh my God, dude. I see people like these like 18-year-olds who are big on Twitter be like, I slept 6 hours today. Like, I'm so tired. It's like, oh my God, dude. I would sign up for 6 hours every day. I'm lucky. 5 is a good number for me some days. It's like, what are we doing here? People are so soft. Get over it. Nonetheless, I'm feeling a little bit feisty today. Tonight, watching the Jets defense in person was more brutal than watching on TV. It wasn't as bad as the Bills game, but there was quite a bit of bad. I don't even highlight the like. What's the one play? This is just actually. Let me show 2. Sure, let me just share the whole screen. I'll just show 2 plays where it's just like, what are we doing here? Entire screen. Let's go. Let's minimize some stuff. Who cares? Where are we at? Okay, I'm just doing the Brownley review. That's there. Bucks. What play was it when they all over pursued like mother? I don't even remember. Backside contains Sauce beat. So, by the way, Sauce. I know he only gave up like 2 receptions, but he was beaten on an out route, dropped the ball. He was beat again on an out route. I believe, the ball was behind and he dropped the ball, Mike Evans. So Sauce was not good in this game. I don't care about the stats, anything like that. He should have gave up 2 more receptions. So he, good game 1, bad game 2, below average game 3. So that's just me being real. That's just me being real. I don't know where the hell this. I don't know where this is. Oh, Jets terrible defense over pursuit. That sounds like it. And I don't even need to do much here. It's just like I've broken this down already 3 times probably, so I don't really want to even do it again. I just want to freeze frame it like here. Like, how are we not bringing this guy down? How? The only guys I'm not going to kill here or be mad at is Michael Carter, because he's forcing the run back inside. And I don't know if I guess that's Malachi. Is that Malachi at the top? Everybody else though, actually it's not Malachi. That's somebody. That's Stevens. So Stevens and Carter, fine. Malachi Moore, a little bit too high of an angle. Sherwood, a little bit too high of an angle. Quincy, awful angle. He's probably the worst one here in terms of angles. That's just terrible. When you have Sherwood high, outside contain, and this is your angle. Quincy, woof. You got Clemens, who moves like a freaking. I said it in the other thing. It's like, hey, what did Glenn say? At first, he was saying, oh, well, the Jets, we should be able to win in year 1. And now he's changed his tune to, oh, it's not an instant coffee league and big ships turn slow. Talking about big ships turning slow. Watch Clemens freaking slow ass reacting so slow to that jump cut backwards. You got Quincy, terrible angle. You got Cisco, awful angle. Just like anticipation of him cutting back. Like, what are you doing, Cisco? You're taking forever to get back there. And then same thing for Phillips. Like, look how long it takes Phillips right here to react. Like, what are we doing? Just gross. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. I get it. And I'm not going to say Glenn sucks, fire him, get rid of him after this year, whatever. But this looks like the same old Jets, dude. This looks like I could drive down the road and see the Pee Wee Middletown Eagles playing better football than this. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys within 5 yards of each other, and the running backs just like gross. And then one other play I want to show you like later on, just in terms of guys having literally absolutely no idea what they're doing. Bad 3rd and 9 defense. I think this one's it. Yeah. So this is a blown coverage. I'm not even going to get into what the coverage is because I don't know, because it's a blown coverage. So to the bottom, I'm going to leave the bottom first. That's the easy side. We end up having 3 versus 2. He's going to take and obviously, quarterback looks there to that side. Maybe he gains depth, whatever it may be. But you have 3 versus 2 there. And probably not. He's looking inside the entire time. Probably not. But you got 3 versus 2 with him going vertical, wide open. And you got 4 guys covering grass. You have a hitch route. This isn't this. It's not an overly complicated scheme here. You have a hitch route. You got 4 guys covering absolutely nothing, and they pick up a 3rd and 9 because of a completely blown defense. Like, what is this? I can't tell you because it's blown. Multiple guys have to blow their assignment here because there's no way this makes sense. What is this defense? So frustrating to say the least with the Jets defense. So no doubt. Not the same, like, yeah, don't fire him and stuff yet, but like, woof, man. Appreciate your super chat, Marvin. I'm glad Aaron Glenn utilized live tackling drills during training camp. Yeah, they've been piss poor, and it's not even the tackling. It's not even like they're getting hands-on guys. It's not, oh, they're not wrapping up. It's their over pursuit has been brutal, whether it be in the run game, not being responsible for backside gaps. I talk about Maui Noah, who made some nice plays in the game, but had a terrible contain on the backside, where he over pursues hard to the front side of the play, allows the running back to cut it back, and he could fit a semi truck through that gap because of the over pursuit there. You have the play I just showed you with 8 guys standing within 5 yards of each other because of at least 4, 5, 6 awful pursuit angles. So it's not even like, hey, the hitting, they're physical when they're getting there. It's just they're way too overzealous. They got to be smarter. Break down play angles, Be disciplined. Don't play for yourself. Play for all 11. It's been brutal. Annoyed. I don't see anything under this. I'll go back into the stream and I'll definitely answer whatever question. Maybe you forgot to put it in here. First time I'm seeing your name, but I appreciate you being here. Nonetheless, let's see. The Noid. How would you set up the secondary with the rookies and the addition? It's really hard because I don't know, because I don't think they're gonna give him on Stevens. And listen, I know, and I think you guys know at this point, right? Unless you're new and you're from Jake Show or something like that, I'm always gonna be completely honest, whether it be good or whether it be bad. I put up a good play of Clemens this week, which is rare, but I'm gonna show what happens. Stevens was the least bad of the corners this week. And you can maybe, Azaria Thomas. But with Azaria Thomas, even that play on Evans, where it's like a slant, or I don't know if he was targeted, but he actually had illegal hands to the face on that play and should have been called. And then Malachi Moore, he had good numbers. He got beat on what should have been a 70-yard touchdown. He got beat on a sail route or a corner route that should have been a huge reception, but Baker Mayfield overthrew it because there's some pressure. But he wasn't good in the game. He also missed a tackle. Sauce should have given up another 2 receptions. He got beat on a fade. He got beat on a slant. Not great from Sauce. And then Michael Carter's been he's been bad the first 3 weeks. First week, not so bad. He missed 1 tackle, and everybody's like, oh, he's terrible. But weeks 2 and 3 were gross for Michael Carter. So he's got to fix it. But for me, so how would I is different than how I think the Jets will. So I'll kind of take it from how I think the Jets will. We have to get Brownley healthy, right? He's week to week. It could be 2 weeks. It could be 3 weeks. I'm not sure. What I think they'll do is, because of their linebackers and their linebacker injuries, which, as we know now, Quincy's out he's on IR, so he's going to miss at least 4 weeks. And Ball is out as well. They signed, forgive me, but the dude from the Patriots, apparently, big special teamer. I guess he had some good plays in like the base defense in the preseason, so maybe they'll play him a little bit there, or he's just going to replace Ball as a special teamer. But I think you have Maui Noah and Sherwood starting, and then what I think is going to happen, instead of that third linebacker coming in like it's Ben, I think they're going to put Brownley in that big nickel type of role, where he's playing like a quasi safety slot nickel hybrid type of role, where they're going to have him in the box, responsible for run fits, covering tight ends, things like that. Maybe he takes over a slot corner for Michael Carter if he keeps struggling. Maybe even outside. I literally just got off of the Jarvis Brownley review, which actually, since we're talking about him a little bit, or at least throwing him out there, I'll share this with you guys if you haven't been following me on Twitter and all that stuff. Let me see Brownley. The thing I like about him is he can play outside. He's played outside so far to this point in his career. He's played. He could play slot. So the reason I want to, there's positive and negatives to both. Slot is for him being more involved in the run fits, being closer to the box, being able to make more plays in the run game in general, being able to blitz him. That's why we want him in the slot. My problem with him in the slot is he tends to be jumpy and overreact to movements in general. So when you're playing guys in the slot, the receivers have more room and they have more room to fake you out, and he tends to be a little bit jumpy. So I'm a little bit more nervous about him in coverage in the slot, but he'll be more involved in the run game in the slot. So positive and negatives to both. So we'll see, but he could play slot. He could play outside corner. He could play a quasi strong safety role for the Jets. The way he's immediately the most aggressive or second most aggressive Jet on defense, him and Quincy easily. He reminds me in the box, and go watch the review. And it's not a direct comparison because they're completely different. He's a corner and he can actually cover. But he gives me Jamal Adams type box vibes. Like, that's how physical he is. That's how much he wants it in the box. So stupidly aggressive, can play all over the place. But I think at first he's going to be a big nickel, and then be a guy who can either play outside if Stevens continues to struggle, or can play slot if Carter continues to struggle, or if not, be like at the dime, be like a dime corner. They traded they traded a 6th round pick for Brownley in a 7th. I have no idea why they got rid of him. You heard some malcontent stuff, but it seemed like bullshit. And maybe they got frustrated with the penalties, but I don't understand with the Titans team who's rebuilding, giving up on a 2nd-year, 5th round pick who's made as many plays as you're seeing on the screen right now. It just really doesn't make sense. He had 3 penalties in week 1, which obviously he needs to stop holding. He does hold quite a bit. And it's not holding I understand holding more so when you're holding because you're in disadvantageous positions because you're beat. He holds at times completely unnecessarily. Like there's times he's all over a guy and will just grab the shoulder pad and just extend him when he can just get hands on him and it'll be the end of it, you know? So, or like hands on, not grab. That was what I mean to say. So very versatile. In terms of the rookies, I don't think Azareye'h Thomas takes over Brandon Stevens yet. And again, Brandon Stevens minus really the play where he gave up a touchdown, which obviously, like, yeah, you don't want to give up a touchdown, but defensively, why are we putting Brandon Stevens isolated on Mike Evans? Sauce is better against big guys, those big long arms, and he's your number one corner who's making $30 million a year. Why are we putting him not on Mike Evans? And Stevens didn't do a good job there. He has to play that much more inside out instead of kind of inviting Evans to the inside, especially with his body and his frame. Do not let him box you out, and that's what he let happen. So shame on Stevens there. But Stevens was not bad in this game, minus giving up a touchdown, which kind of sounds contradictory, right? But like past that, it wasn't that bad. And that's I almost blame that more on the coaches. You're talking about a number 2 corner at the absolute best versus a top 10 receiver in the red zone. Why? Why are we doing that? Aaron Glenn came from the darkest times and the worst Jets team in history when he said he doesn't know about what the same old Jets he was a member of. He knows what they are. I think what he's trying to do, but he's doing it in the wrong way, is he's trying to hype up the players and all that stuff. But, you know, you're pissing off the fans and you're saying that stuff like we're not. Okay, well, you look like it. Prove it. Again, just win. Just less talking, more winning. And I'm not saying to come out there and like bash guys like Clemens and stuff, but like, you know, instead of, oh, the media, you guys are going to be negative and all that stuff. Again, what else are they going to do? It's only been negative. Come out there and say, yeah, we're not playing good enough. I understand why fans are saying that. We need to win games. And it would have been the end of it. It's all you had to say, something to that effect. I understand we're not winning games. We have to win games. We're not playing good enough. Instead of, oh, the media, like it's kind of ticky-tacky and kind of looks bitchy, to be honest. So the one thing I expect him to do is hold the guys accountable. I'm not even saying hold the guys accountable, but say, hey, yeah, we suck today. You know, we can't be down, 20-3 at halftime. You know, we can't throw pick sixes in a 2-minute drill. We can't have terrible over pursuit. We can't have 19. I saw both 16 and 19 missed tackles. Let's call it 17 and a half missed tackles. We can't have 17 and a half missed tackles. And that's not even including over pursuits. I don't know how they track these numbers and stuff. But I'm sure missed tackles is like some bullshit. Like, oh, you're within a 1 yard radius of the guy you get hands on. However they track that shit, I don't care. I don't know. But in terms of over pursuits, like missed tackles, if that's included, the Jets had 30 plus. Because that one play they had 7 or 8. One play, they didn't have only 10 in the rest of the game. So, I think you told me how to say his name. I'll call you Fly Guy. I haven't seen you in a while, Fly Guy, but what is up? Maybe it's a nighttime thing. We're not really here during the day, but I appreciate you. I like to change up the time slots, some mornings, some afternoons, some weekends, some nights, to let some people view it who can't live. So here we are. Michael Clemens being on the Jets roster is a war crime against human. And again, like you guys all saw it, right? If you follow my Twitter, if you've been on Twitter at all this week, dude got blocked by a tight end for 5 seconds. And the problem is Clemens is such a doofus that instead of, and like, yeah, he gets blocked inside because of leverage. So like initially, yeah, he can't do much after that. But what he has to do is instead of trying to run through the guy because, oh, I'm big, broody Michael Clemens, he just tries to run through him. He has to get over the top of the block and then force Baker Mayfield inside. He just tries to push through him like he's just going to throw him 15 yards back into Baker Mayfield. Like he's just such a dumbass. He really, really is a dumbass. I cannot wait until that guy's off the team. I cannot wait. He's just a brutal, brutal watch. That play, the one play he was spilling the run, but it took forever to get back in on it, and he should have got more vertical. There's another play where I think he over pursues, and like everybody from the Jets defense reacts to the right or reacts to the left. And he's like 3 seconds late to react and just running to the other side. It's like, where's Clemens going? Like, what is he doing right now? Face mask. He made one nice play in the running game. I'll give him credit, but past that, he sucks. He just really, really sucks. Like in terms of starters in the NFL or guys who are playing 50-ish% of the snaps, he has to be the worst player in the NFL. Who's getting this many reps? Has to be. Reds. I know the Reds won because they robbed the freaking home run. D-backs lost. Yeah, but no, Reds are the only threat to the Mets. Yeah, no, I know that. My concern is, Eagle, with that, not to get into baseball too much, is that the Reds are playing the Brewers, who I believe have, like, I don't know what their situation is. I know they have a lead on the Phillies. If the lead is too much on the Phillies, they have nothing to play for. So I needed them to lose while the Phillies win. So yeah, Reds play the Brewers. I need the Brewers to actually play, because if they're going to win 3 games in a row to the Marlins, fine. They should. They're a better team than the Marlins, but for whatever reason, the Mets suck in Miami and against the Marlins in general. So yeah, I need the Brewers to actually try to win against the Reds. That's the problem. What up, Late Night Blue It? Let's go. What is up, guys? Yeah, I know it's a crazy time for me to be doing a stream, but it is either no stream or me streaming late at night when my family's sleeping. Why the Jets line up McDonald's away from center on the Bucks game and the winning field goal? If you have the video, you saw the center and left guard did not even block anything. I think it's probably because like they would have expected it the next time and try to put him on the edge. He almost did block it, and he almost blocked it even the time before that. So he's getting close even from the edge. So yeah, that's probably why. Like, hopefully, expect that they would expect it. But yeah, there's some Bucks fans like, oh, he hit the leg and he just stupid. Thanks for doing this, Joe, even though they suck right now. Really appreciate you being straightforward and your analysis. Yeah, man. No doubt. Again, there'll be times where people are being too negative and I'll be positive. There's times where people are being way too positive and I'll be negatives. It's just always going to be, I'm always going to be straight up, no doubt. So I appreciate that. Johnny Boy. I'm seeing some relatively new names in here. I don't know if I've seen all of you guys before. So thank you for either catching me on Twitter and now following, or Jake's show, which I'm sure helps as well. So thank you. Joe, do you believe, I've definitely seen Johnny Boy actually. Joe, do you believe that players on the defense have to take some blame for poor performances? Yeah, no doubt, dude. It is not a one thing fix all type of deal situation. Like, it's not that type of situation for the Jets. You have Oversuit. You have Sauce, who's playing not up to his contract right now. Again, it's 3 weeks in. Don't get crazy, but he's been below average for 2 weeks and bad 1 week. For a guy who's the highest paid corner in the NFL. McCarr the second, highest paid slot, has looked unplayable. Sherwood, better game this game, but the first 2 games he kind of sucked. Quincy makes some splash plays, but then also has plays where he completely blows coverages and spot drops and doesn't match. That third down where Baker like scrambled up to the right. I'm not sure if it was around the tackle or up and through like the B gap. Then he finds the receiver wide open in the middle of the field. It was because Quincy broke into the flat when he already had a curl the flat player there. So he had like no idea what he was doing, just covered grass. So he's very iffy. You saw a terrible over pursuit from him. Cisco's been bad, and I try to tell you guys, I don't know if you guys remember this in the offseason. If you've been following me for a while, I told you he sucked at tackling, and he's a risk taker, and he sucked at tackling, and he's been a risk taker. Got beat for 25 yards because 25, 30 yards because he played that play terribly. It was quarters, and he played it way too heavy inside leverage, gave himself no shot. Who else? Malachi Moore struggled when he came in. I don't give a shit about the numbers because I could show you the plays. Yeah, just individual performances has been bad. Then you also have to go to coaching. Like, these guys aren't in the right position. They're playing bad. So you also blame on the coach. Last game, I didn't have such a big problem with the game that Wilkes called. It was much more so on the players. So I would say players more than scheme, but there's also been some problems with the scheme as well, which we've talked about in the past. So, and Wilkes has put them in good positions, bad tackling, over pursuing. Yeah, have to take some blame. No doubt, dude. No doubt. They take most of the blame. Like, and again, like, how do you quantify what are they talking about in the meeting rooms? What are they talking? What are the coaching points? We don't know. So it's hard to say like, yeah, no doubt it's the players. No doubt it's the coach, because how is he teaching these guys? Why are they in spots they're not supposed to be in? Why is there 2 guys to 3? The one play I really hate, 2 plays I don't like Wilkes for, is the 3rd and 29. You don't have help over the top of Sauce. Why? Play cover 2 there. I didn't like that. And then the last play one of the last plays of the game, Sterling Shepard. I don't know if you guys watched my breakdown or not, but you have 8 guys in line of scrimmage. You have 3 receivers to a two corner side with a team who's been playing, destroying you on screens the entire game. You're inviting them to throw a screen, and the corners are playing 20 yards off, 15 yards off, whatever. Here, let me just show it. Okay, I want to. Let's see. Just because I'm explaining it, why not just freaking pull up the play? Bad call, missed tackle. McGregor's awful too. In terms of schematically, 8 guys on the line, 3 receivers, too high. And what I would, if there's going to be too high, get them up a little bit closer and have at least one of these guys in the line of scrimmage drop out. It's like an exit angle to match like the number 3 or something. They blitz all of them and they just ask to be beat on a screen. You're getting killed all day on screens. And even if you are going to blitz 8, which I don't agree with, disguise it. Don't show them, hey, Baker, we're definitely blitzing the house here. So get rid of the ball very, very quickly. Because what offenses do is when guys blitz, they replace it. They have hot routes. They get rid of the ball. So you're asking them to be terribly offensively. Lining up with these guys all the way off the line of scrimmage and then not sending anybody over here, you're asking them to be idiots to make this a successful defensive play. So an awful play call, in my opinion, just beyond awful. You're gifted them the play. And then obviously McGregor's a piss poor tackle attempt and angle. Not even it's the angle's not god awful, but just throws a hand out there. Like, what are we doing? How is that the call? Do you see what I'm saying? How does that make any sense? It doesn't. It does not make sense. Okay, we're blitzing. Let's play our corners 20 yards off. So even if they do get the ball on a hot, I'm not going to make the tackle. Our corners can't tackle. The safeties and corners can't tackle in general. So you're asking to do this, like it makes, again, no sense. No sense. Verge, working overnight shift as a lifestyle. It messed me up when I did shop right overnights decades ago. Miserable. Yeah, dude. I've been, and not, I don't want to be like one of those wieners, but I've been gym every day and been eating super, super well. So like now I just wake up 4 eggs, 3 chicken patties, protein shakes, and protein bars. Like I fit all of my meals in like 4 hours, 5 hours. But the last time I worked midnights for 3 years, I ballooned up like 25, 30 pounds. I weighed like 205, which is really heavy for me. But I've been like taking care of myself better, trying to sleep a little bit better. Midnight sucks, dude. It's just, you're tired all the time. I'm never not tired. Even when I get good sleep, I'm still tired because of the 5 days of 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Third quarter, I noticed that too. 2 daughters with severe autism. I have average 3 year, dude. Salute to you, man. That's all I could say. Like that, like I'm not even trying to get like emotional right now, but that, I've seen it, I work in the hospital where I've seen people with severe autism, and I don't know what level of autism, he has, because like there's some people with severe autism who are aggressive and stuff, but I've seen the severe autism where kids are wearing helmets and biting nurses and pulling hair and all of that stuff. Personally, my sister-in-law, she doesn't have autism. It's really hard to explain what she has because I don't really know. She's 23 years old, but she acts like she's 12. If she doesn't eat very specific diet, she had seizures. She had seizures and like very weird motor movements because of her diet was screwed up. They figured out the diet part of it. So now she moves better, but she's a 23-year-old who acts like she's like 10. And she doesn't get little things like, it's like leave food out or leave wrappers in the couch or like, like take the milk out of the fridge and then leave it out because she doesn't understand it goes bad. And like the attitude about it. It's like, I live with people who have disabilities. And I've seen it a lot in the hospital. So, that's the scariest part of having kids, man. And like, obviously you love them and stuff, but it's terrifying. It's terrifying to have kids. Like I just had one of my buddies, he was, they were about to give birth to their kid like 2 weeks before the due date, and they stopped feeling the baby kick. Baby got choked out by the umbilical cord and died. Like I'm too and done. They scared the shit out of me. Autism, mental, man, salute to you, man. A lot of props. And you almost made me emotional there. I don't know if I'm so tired, but like, damn, I feel it. I deal with it. And I know it could be worse, so I got to figure out what I'm doing with my sister-in-law post her parents not being able to take care of her because she can't drive, she can't work, she can't take care of herself. You got to make her meals. She has a very down to the calorie. You have to have her diet or she'll have seizures. So, man, salute, Fly Guy. Appreciate you. Keep grinding. AG caught smiling and clapping after the losing, heartbreaking fashion. So the thing I will say about this is I'm not going to overreact. One, let's talk about the block kick. We're all excited. I was running around my house like a fucking madman, and my kid was looking at me like, "What is going on?" Like he ran to his mom and was like, he was scared because he's like, "Why is dad screaming running around the house?" I get the emotion. If you criticize him for that, you're an idiot, in my opinion. I'll be straight up. The same fans who are saying, oh, Saleh was too stoic and Bowles was too stoic on the sideline. Oh my God, Glenn's showing too, like, no matter what. And this is what I've always said. And for people, Eagle, who's always been here, I've always said it. If you win, who gives a fuck what they do? Bill Belichick barely said a word. He wins. He's a great coach. You have Pete Carroll, more energetic. They won a Super Bowl. Great. Like, it doesn't matter. Just win games. So the overreactions to him doing the dance after one of the best plays in Jets history is beyond dumb. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. Secondly, on that play, and it's been kind of out there now, it's spilled out there, that he was clapping at Will McDonald because Will McDonald, one, almost blocked the kick and was upset that the play that he just made was for nothing. So it's not, he wasn't clapping for moral victories. He wasn't clapping, oh, good job, guys. You almost won the game. He was clapping at Will McDonald. Okay. So, and Eagle, I'm not dunking on you or anything like that, but that's why we have to be careful to comment on things before we have context, right? Just in general. And that's in life, in a lot of things, that people comment on stuff without having any idea what they're talking about. And I know you guys probably deal with that, whatever, I'm not going to get too much into stuff, but people act like experts when they read a headline, and we see that all over the world, politics, everything. Now people are just idiots. I get to your comment. Yeah, I'm fine. Sorry. I figured AG would have the secondary running like well-oiled machine. They're the worst from the Jets defense. Yeah, the secondary has been gross. Now you do have to give like a buffer period to like, hey, new defense, all this stuff, adjusting to it. But I don't think they've been doing anything overly complex. Last week they had some like inverted twos and some rotations that they didn't do in the first 2 weeks, so they're asking to do a little bit more. But it's not overly complicated. And once you start to do rotations and more complicated stuff, you'll have it puts more pressure on them. But you do have to allow some wiggle room for, hey, it's the first 3 weeks of a new regime. With that being said, is what they're doing acceptable? Unequivocally not, right? Oh my God, Haas Stevens being the less bad this week. Now you can see they traded for that dude from the Titans this week. Yeah, no, he was the least bad. I would argue that MC2 has been the worst corner on the field through 3 games, either MC2 or Stevens, or Stevens have been great in coverage, but at least Stevens fits in the run and tackles. Yeah, he had that really nice tackle on the left side of the offense, right side of the defense, right? Again, he got beat for that touchdown, which again sounds contradictory because he got beat for a touchdown, but past that, he was pretty solid. MC2, yeah, it's either one of those guys, but it's not like there's definitely not a large gap. I understand either one of them being the worst corner. Like if your personal rankings, if he's Stevens is 1 or Carter's 1, I think either one is fair. If I really had to say, probably Stevens still 1, but I don't know. It's kind of like it's hard to say really. But yeah, they've both been gross. And then even with that, Sauce last week, Josh Palmer, Trubisky on 3rd and 9 or whatever, you're getting beat. This week again, he got beat on a fade by Evans, a slant by Evans, an out route by Evans that was just dropped. It was in Evans' hands. Another one, Baker put it inside. Sauce may have got like a fingernail on the ball, which changed the trajectory of the ball. But it's because the ball was so far inside that it allowed Sauce to make up that ground. Where it was a well-timed and a well-thrown ball, he gets beat on an out route. So Sauce has not been great. Let's just be realistic. And I love Sauce, and I think he's a great player, and I want him to be, the best corner in the league. But he's not played up his contract so far this season. Is that fair to say? Like, I'm not saying I'm out on him or anything like that, but it's not been encouraging. He hasn't looked like a dominant force. Again, you can't keep getting beat by Josh Palmer on 3rd and 9. Maybe D players just aren't getting the scheme quick enough. That would explain blown coverages in the 3rd down play calling. Yeah, it's again, you can't just lump it into just this guy. Did Trey Benson score? Who just scored? Is that Trey Benson? Oh no, Amari DeMarcado. Okay, I don't know. I was hoping that was Benson. Got him in fantasy. Nice little tied game going into sweet. Grass match straws. No, it's Verge tips. Like it's all encompassing. It's not just one thing. It's some of Wilkes' play calling. That third that screen was brutal in my opinion. The 3rd and 29, putting Sauce on an island, even though it was third, it was a cover 3, but still have a guy over top of him. Why not? There's been problems with that. Again, how is he coaching these guys? Why are they not getting the scheme? So it's hard to quantify. Okay, well, if he's telling Quincy, hey, match the 2, match the 2, match the 2, match the 2, and then Quincy goes out there and doesn't match the 2 and is covering grass, then how do I blame that on Wilkes? So it's hard to say, yes, it's definitely this guy because we need more context just transparently. But it's everybody. It's the coaching and it's the players individually. Nobody has played up to standard. Not one player. Q. Even McDonald at times. And I know teams are throwing more protection, their play action, they're moving pockets and stuff. He had 2 sacks in week 2, or in week 1, but he didn't do anything last week until the blocked kick, which obviously great, right? But still, before that, you'd like to see him make a play. He didn't really. Some of the holdings, and I know AG said that, like, oh yeah, we didn't have many sacks, we had a bunch of holdings. I think there were 7, but like I think 3 or 4 of those were on receivers. Like I know at least one was on Evans, maybe another 1 or 2 on receivers. So there was one play specifically. Remember, McDonald spin move on the left tackle and forced the hold. So there was that one, but I don't think anybody's been playing up to expectation. Okay, actually, forgive me. Juwan Briggs, fine. Phillips, okay, we'll take it. Q. Was dominant last game and in week 1, a little bit more absent in week 2. Quincy's been not great, getting better in week 3. Same thing for Sherwood. Safeties, nope. The one thing I will say though is Tony Adams. I don't know why people talk shit about him in week 2. Week 2 he got hurt, but week 2 before he came out of the game is actually pretty damn good. He made a few plays in the box in week 2. So just throwing it out there. They're not the same old Jets because the same old Jets had a good defense. There you go, Billy. Yeah, at least the same old Jets would lose a game 13-10. Minus like last year and some of the other like last year. What was the Colts game? Jets scored a touchdown. Was it Anthony Richardson last year against the Colts? I think it's Anthony Richardson. Oh no, Jacoby Brissett. Was Jacoby Brissett marched down the field, touchdown. Jets come back. I think a field goal. Colts, next drive, touchdown. So even when the Jets defenses were good, they would either allow scores right after they scored on offense or situationally 3rd down before the half to win the game. They could not hold up. Like, would they have 7 fourth-quarter leads that were blown last year? So the defense even was good situationally. Like, yeah, statistically they were good, but when it mattered, 3rd down, red zone, whatever, game-winning drives, they folded. Appreciate it. I'm scared about our defense playing Miami. Yeah, you got to be worried about A-Chain. You got to be worried about Tyreek and Waddle. If you're going to over pursue those guys, they'll undercut the shit of you, and it's game over. I know Miami at least has like decent rushing stats. And they, like, everybody's like, oh, Dolphins are an easy win, whatever. One, they're looking at us like that too. And they competed with the Bills. We were not even close in the game against the Bills. I think the Dolphins are going to rely on the run game. If they get that run game going, they're going to get the play action game going. They're going to get the passing game going. And then it's game over because we don't have guys who can cover Hill and Waddle. So I think commit to stopping that run game first and foremost. Get your guys up. Don't let them work in space. Crowd them. Disrupt the timing. Force 2 into a turnover. A turnover. Wrong one. Yeah. I don't know how to get them to stop now. Whatever. It works. Force a turnover. Maybe do that. That'd be nice to have a turnover. 0 for 3. Like, at least if the defense isn't allow big plays and blitz all these guys and allow yardage, you want to create turnovers. You can't have allowing big plays, chunk plays, and no turnovers. That is a recipe for absolute disaster, which it has been. Got to pick the ball off. Let's see. Where are we at? The defense staying on the sideline can't hurt you. Yeah, run the ball, man. Justin Fields is healthy. He's going to be playing this week. The Dolphins have struggled to contain the ground game. The problem is, just like with and I don't think Breece Hall, he hasn't been great the last 2 weeks, but the problem is when they're blitzing all the time and they're running into run blitzes, it's gonna be hard to get any gaps. So if I was the Dolphins, I don't know their blitz tendencies, but if they're not a blitz heavy team, blitz them, make Justin Fields beat you. Put 7-8 guys in the box and make double Garrett Wilson and make receiver 2, tight end 1 beat you. So I'm nervous because the Bills even struggle against the Dolphins in run defense. They struggled week 1 against the Ravens, obviously Lamar, Derrick Henry, okay, but they also didn't do great against the Dolphins. The Jets couldn't run against them because they just blitzed the house. They couldn't run against the Bucs because they blitzed the house. So if I'm the Dolphins, blitz the house. So we'll see. The passing game needs to be efficient. It's what happens. It's been what's been happening to us for the last 15 years. 7-8 in the box. We've seen it. I've seen it my entire football life. Just stack the box against the Jets. So wonder what the team's football IQ is. That quantifiable? Yeah, Nick Folk, McNamara is the best punter in the NFL in terms of numbers. One of them. You roll through strength, O-line, the running backs, your running QB. Those are the strengths, defensive liability. Yeah, no, I get it. That's what you want to play into. But again, if they do what the Bucs and the Bills did, then it's gonna be tough sledding. So I think if anything, then what you want to do is spread them out a little bit. You don't want to run a bunch of tight formations and have 8 guys in the box. Spread them out. Even if you have 5 or 6 in the box, hope that 6 or 7 in the box. You can win in those situations, but don't run all these bunch formations and reduced formations and have guys in the box. Spread them out and run the ball. They need to, they need to run, but the pass also opens up the run. I know it works both ways. The pass can open up the run and vice versa. But based on how these teams have been playing the Jets the last 3 weeks, they need to throw the ball a little bit too. Early draft talk, but what position are you feeling with the first 2 picks? Oh my God. Quarterback and receiver. Quarterback, receiver. They're going to need linebackers. Quincy's going to be gone. I think Brees is definitely going to be gone. Michael Carter II is probably going to be gone if he keeps playing like this. We are missing CJ Mosley, undoubtedly. Undoubtedly, getting guys with the right calls. My opinion, but the Jets will overstack on defense like they always do and not put up any points. Dolphins have sucked on defense. Their secondary is beyond brutal. So if they can't throw on this team, who are you going to be able to throw on? They're one of the worst, if not the worst defenses in the NFL. Can you name their corners? What is that banner still on the bottom? Let me take that off. How do I take that off? What else? Oh, this is how you do that? I don't even know if that. I don't even know how to do this. Should I put this one? All right. Back to the comments. All right. Try to find where I'm at. Yeah, first 2 picks, quarterback, receiver. Oh, there you go. Missing Mosley. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for identifying the weaknesses with our linebackers. They can play the run sometimes when they don't over pursue. The problem is they're light and they don't take guys on contact. They try to slip guys, which kind of disrupts timing. And they've been awful in coverage. Regardless of how good they play in the run game this week, at times their coverage is brutal. It's brutal. Was the interception more on Garrett or Tyrod? Tyrod, because he should have replaced the blitz there. He's looking to that side of the field. And I'll get into Tyrod now. First play of the game, they run a Yankee concept. His first read, and go on my Twitter and stuff. I don't want to pull up all the plays, or go watch the review, which is even better. Staring at Garrett Wilson, doesn't throw the ball, and then scrambles. That play, staring at Garrett Wilson. You have a slot corner blitzing, and what you're taught to do, throw it to the hot, replace the blitz. If he's blitzing from that side of the field where another receiver was, the receiver should be open unless somebody's capping it over the top. They weren't. Throw the ball to Tyler Johnson, wide open over the middle. There's so many examples of him staring at Garrett Wilson. There's another example. He stared at Garrett Wilson on out and up. Tyler Johnson or Arian Smith was wide open on a over route from the opposite side of the field. Never got his eyes there. Took a sack. So Tyrod was bad in terms of getting off of his first read, not staring at Garrett Wilson, not pulling the trigger. He was pretty awful this game. He really struggled. He cannot throw that ball across the field that late. You want to be throwing the ball as the receiver's coming out of the break. And the saying is, if the receiver can see the quarterback throwing the ball, it's too late. If he gets a peek of it, okay. But he threw it way too late. Now, also, Garrett has to attack that ball. And that was my takeaway on Twitter. Hey, Garrett has to attack this ball. And people were like, oh my God, it's on Tyrod. I'm like, I get it. It is on Tyrod. It's 80% on Tyrod. Garrett Wilson is making $32.5 million a year. He has to attack the football. And then the same thing, or not the same thing. Another play, you had Fashion holding on 3rd and 9 or whatever it was. Garrett Wilson drops the ball on the sideline. Why? And people came at me on Twitter, which is hilarious because I did 3 years of breakdowns on Garrett Wilson. If you don't think that Garrett Wilson body catches too much, then you don't know what you're watching. I'm going to be straight up. He catches the ball way too much with his body. I would say almost half the time he jumps and tries to trap the ball. He doesn't just extend to the ball and catch it. That play, ball's coming at him. He jumps and tries to catch it like this So then he drops it. And it doesn't matter anyway because it's a holding on Fashanu. But Garrett Wilson has to stop body catching. It's way, way, way too frequently he body catches. And that play on 3rd and 9, or I think it was 3rd and 9, he body catches it, drops it. Steelers game, kind of body catches it, gets hit by Ramsey, drops it. Steelers game last year, body catches it, ball pops up because it hits him in his chest or his shoulder or whatever it was. Ball pops up, interception. Way too much body catching from Garrett Wilson. Again, I'm being critical because he makes $32.5 million a year on that play. Knowing the game situation. 3rd down, he was trying to get to the sticks, get out of bounds, 2-minute drill, all that stuff. I get that in an ideal situation. It was not an ideal situation. Attack the fucking football. Is that simple enough? So people are like, "Oh, what are you watching? He doesn't body catch." Like, okay, dude. I 3 years of reviews, and people are going to go back and watch them. I'll just make a highlight clip of all the body catches he does. But catch the ball with your hands, Garrett. You're making a lot of money. And this is why I say Garrett's a top 10 to 20 guy and not a top 10 guy because of the drops, of the body catches, of not attacking the football. There's too much of that from Garrett. He's inconsistent. Hawks and Cardinals game is so good right now. Yeah. It's 2020 going to overtime, right? Give me a Trey McBride touchdown. I would like that. Tony Lee. Hey, Joe, I've been trying to get better at breaking down film. I was wondering if you had 1 or 2 things for QBs that might be helpful, or should I keep in mind while watching them? Oh, my God. That is an absurdly hard question to answer. I was wondering if you had 1 or 2 things for QBs that might be helpful, or should I keep in mind? Don't be a freeze frame scouter. Don't be one of those guys who doesn't understand the reads, the drops, and how they correlate to the concepts, and just freeze frame guys. Like, I see so many freeze frames on Twitter where like they'll be reading a smash concept on the front side. There's a guy open on the back side, and fans on Twitter screenshot it and circle the guy and be like, "Oh my God, he's wide open. Why didn't he throw the ball?" It's like because he was looking at his first 2 reads. So like, I think knowing offensive systems and how they work is important. First and foremost with quarterbacks. Anticipation, knowing defenses and what they should be looking for, both pre-snap and post-snap, things like that. That's really hard to answer though. Like 2 things to look out for quarterbacks. Quarterbacks are such a hard position to evaluate because there's a billion things to evaluate. Footwork, arm angles, how they throw the ball, how they pocket movement, keeping their eyes up. There's so much, drop back footwork. It's why so many people fail. And just knowing guys' mental. Zach Wilson had a ton in college, but you're talking to a kid from Utah who just clearly couldn't deal with the pressure. He had all the physical talent in the world. He's ridiculously talented in terms of the arm. So I used to like working midnights, no traffic on the way to work or back. You get a little bit in the morning. When you're actually at work, for me on midnights, it's all or nothing, right? Like it's either something serious or there's nothing going on. So I like the actual shift the best, but the lack of sleep is the hard part about it. Gut health is very important. Yeah, no doubt. I'm gonna get to a whole thing about all the shit we're eating, dude. In this country, it's wild. That's why we're the fattest country in the world. All the shit we have, and like we have dyes in our food that other countries don't have. That dyes that are bad for you. So yeah, whatever. Thank you, people. Bitch to hear themselves bitch. Oh, the sleep stuff, dude. Yeah, it's brutal. I can't. Again, quite literally average five hours of sleep a night and still like work out and stuff. And people are on Twitter like, I got 7 hours of sleep. Wild. I see that stuff like, I automatically disrespect you. Like, toughen up, Buttercup. No, you didn't bring me down, dude. You didn't bring me down. I know how hard that could be because I live with it. Not as severe, but I know it because I might have to live with it for the rest of my life, in 10, 15 years. So we got to figure it out. Tie game, 28 seconds. What happened? Did the game end? Oh yeah. Okay. Seahawks won. Damn. Great drive. No, I'll go for the tie. Eagle, I feel like there's a death match game for the Jets and Fins. Yeah, it's big for both. That's for sure. Let's think about others, and I'll go through the chat still. Tyrod sucked. He sucked. Again, go through the review. Even just the short one, I put up at least 2 or 3 plays of Tyrod just staring at Garrett Wilson and not throwing the ball or not coming off him too quickly. running backs. Braylon Allen had good stats. Can you be realistic that the Bucks weren't blitzing and he had wide open gaps? I'll just be honest. Brees, not much there when he was actually running. I just want to make sure I recap most of the stuff. Garrett Wilson, a couple of nice plays, also didn't attack the football, also dropped one. So an okay game for him, I guess. Mason Taylor had a really nice chip block, a couple of nice catches, getting involved a little bit more. I don't think he's been bad. I think he's been fine. Rookie tight end, he's been decent. Ruckert had a terrible play in the run game where if you see me on, again, the reviews, he completely blows the play. It's a zone play. He steps inside instead of zone stepping to the left and basically blocks Fashanu and allows Reddick in the backfield and blows up the run. Terrible play there by Ruckert, but past that, a couple of nice blocks from him. Hasn't looked terrible. Receivers past Tyler Johnson had a huge drop, but he was also wide open to the middle twice, and Tyrod didn't find him. I can't really think of much else. Offensive line. The thing I'll say with the numbers and PFFs and pressures and whatever else for the offensive line is the quarterbacks holding the ball for 3.5 seconds is making the numbers for the offensive line look worse. Okay, so understand that if the quarterbacks usually get rid of the ball in like 2.5 seconds, 2.5 to 3 seconds, probably closer to 2.5, like average number. I don't know exactly what it is, but Fashanu had to hold. He got a couple pressures and stuff, but the offensive line or the quarterbacks are not helping him. Week 1, he was good. Week 2, he was fine. Week 3, he struggled, but he wasn't brutal. The one holding, he has to know when to let go of that shoulder pad. He holds on for it too long, but not terrible. I guess past that. Simpson blown. Oh yeah, sorry for Brees. Brees blew like one scan protection. Stayed too far inside. Allowed a blitzer through the B gap. Simpson blew a protection and allowed a sack on Tyrod. That might have been a sack fumble where he was really late to react to a blitz. I believe it was a blitz. Myers was fine. Overset one, allowed a pressure, but past that has been solid. Tippmann was very good this game. May have had a bad play or two, but it was very good. And Memba was very good this game. That's it for the offense. I'll recap the defense quickly. I don't want to skip anything for people who are like, oh, well, you didn't even talk about the tight ends or the running backs. So I just want to make sure I kind of lightning round things that aren't naturally coming up. Thanks for explaining to me about AG clapping out the accountability for reading it wrong. No one from my knowledge asked Klein. Yeah, no, dude, 100%, Eagle. That's what I'm here to do. And you're a huge supporter of mine, and I would never dunk on you. I will always be honest, and that's what I saw. But that's my point of like people being like, oh, he was clapping about a moral victory, but he wasn't. So it's always important to have context with everything in life. Context, knowledge, researching, in general. Move Brees into the slot. My problem with Brees, though, this game, too, is like he had that play over the middle. Was it like an angle route in the red zone? And I think he heard some footsteps and he like short arms the ball and then it's almost picked off in the end zone. Like it bounces past the linebackers or safety's head. Can I be honest here and say that Brees Hall is overrated in the passing game? I'm sorry. I don't know why we assume that he's Christian McCaffrey as a receiving back. What has he proven? -1 catch against the Titans. And I'm legitimately asking, like, if you guys have another example of him doing anything good in the passing game other than just rumors of him doing it or us thinking he could do it, what has he proven in the passing game that makes us all so eager to get him involved in as a receiving threat? I'm legitimately asking. I'm not trying to be a dick. Adirondack. Now and now I have ties to you. I can never talk shit to you ever because of what you know. But why? Again, in that game, he short armed the ball because he heard footsteps, at least in my opinion, and it could have been picked. So he doesn't sell out. He dropped 7 balls last year. I don't know why we all think so highly of Brees. JJ or McDonald, which one are you paying? McDonald's run. That's part of the thing too. It's like it's not only just hey, he's a good pass rusher, which he wasn't amazing in this game. He forced the hold, which okay, awesome. A hold just as good as a sack. So let's say he had a sack this game. Okay, fine. But if you have to take him off the field for 50% of the snaps, 55% of the snaps because he's a situational pass rusher, you have to pay him as such. You can't pay him $20 million a year to be situational. And then the problem with JJ is like they're not polar opposites because JJ has a little bit of pass rush, but again, just being honest, JJ is more he's so far in his career. Okay, he had 7 sacks in year 2. He's been an average pass rusher at best. And I think that may even be not overselling it. Like average might be like generous. A lot of JJ's sacks, if you guys remember week 1 where they had, I think it was a TE stunt, and I think like Q blew up 2 guys and he runs in wide open through the B gap and gets a sack on Josh Allen. Out of those 7 sacks, I think 1 was like a well-timed play where he actually made a good play and then sacked the quarterback. At least like 5 or 6 of those were effort sacks, so the quarterback holding on to the ball too long. So JJ is an average at best pass rusher to this point in his career. I'm not saying he'll always be. And McDonald is a very good pass rusher, at least has potential to be a very good pass rusher, and terrible in the run game. Can I say TBD? Let me wait for more information. I would say right now, gun in my head, probably McDonald, because you're always going to take the pass rusher over the run defender. Even though JJ's much more well-rounded, but you have a guy in McDonald who hopefully continues to add strength, and he's a guy who could play at least decently in the run game, or not even decently. If he could just be below average, oh my God, we have to take him off the field in rundowns. Like if he's playable, just bad at it, then okay, it is what it is. We're going to take the 15, 16, 17 sacks hopefully he can get to. In an ideal situation, the problem is you can't cover. When the secondary can't cover, the guys can't get there too. And also the blitzes haven't been effective, by the way. They're blitzing a lot of these guys, and they're not getting home, so they got to be better at their design and however they're also doing it. But probably McDonald, because you pay the pass rusher. But I can see JJ. It's just the problem is he's not a great pass rusher. He's a little bit limited athletically. Like he's a decent athlete, but he's not a great athlete. He doesn't have the greatest spin, the greatest explosion. He plays hard. He plays smart. He's great in the run game. Prime Vision with Next Gen Stats is definitely the way to watch these games. You can see the plays developed. Didn't even know it existed. Prime Vision, Next Gen Stats with Next Gen Stats. I think I had Next Gen Stats for a little while, but now I watch it with it's like NFL Pro or something. I forget. Jets have to bait Tua with mixed coverages, and the defense can't create turnovers. This game will be brutal. Just win the game, man. Just win the game, please, God. I don't want to be doing 4 weeks in a row and making it 7 years and 4 weeks of bad film reviews. It's just not fun. Jets find ways to lose. Yeah, I agree with you, Farius. So yeah, same old Jets. So far, through 3 weeks, they have been the same old Jets. They're losing. That's the same old Jets. Can we put it as simply as that? The Jets lose. That's what we know. What else are we supposed to say there? Fields likely playing. He is. Eagle, he already said. But like, you have Dolphins fans who are hoping for Storm Duck back. Like, who the fuck is Storm Duck? I know he's drafted or whatever, like last year or this year. I think it's last year. But I don't know. Did you go to Oregon, Storm Duck, or am I just doing Duck in Oregon and kind of making a leap there? I'm assuming the Miami weak defense can be run on, and the Jets line of running backs will have to make that happen. Again, the problem is if you stack 8 in the box, even if they're bad individually, it's going to be hard to run into an 8-man box. So you also got to play. You also have to play. Get some pass game going. JJ gone? Question mark. What are you talking about? Just in general, or like for this week? I think they said week to week. I think he's gonna be out this week. He didn't practice today, so JJ is not going to be active for this game. Yeti, I'd focus on JJ. He's a complete edge rusher. With Will Mack is a great pass rusher, but he said, yeah, the problem is what wins football games. It's like you pay for pass rushers. Like if I told you in a vacuum, fly guy, hey, this guy's you have one player, very good pass rusher, one guy, very good run defender. Who do you want to start your team? You're going to take the pass rusher, right? That's just how the NFL works. I get if you say JJ because of the leadership, of the more well-roundedness, but he has nowhere near the ceiling of McDonald as a pass rusher. It's just not even close. JJ's been again average at the very best as a pass rusher. A lot of it's effort. Or the quarterback holding onto the ball and then effort. Catching you live, nice. What's up, Real 84? Appreciate you. Garrett Wilson needs to attack the ball. What the fun? Yeah, no doubt. I said that. And like even the 49ers game last year, he caught like 2 balls out of bounds because he was wide open. He just had no awareness of the sideline. He drops too many balls, and he's targeted a lot. He had a nice catch for like contested where he grabbed it, and it wasn't even contested. He leaped up to grab it, and then he got hit. So like if you call that contested, fine. But you can't have the drops. If you watch his highlights, even if you just watch his highlights, you don't believe me, go back 2024 Jets highlights and watch and how many of those plays he jumps to catch the ball. And we saw that in pre-draft in his gauntlet drill. He was jumping to catch the balls. So he has to stop jumping because one, then it slows down your yak and ability to turn up the field. Two, obviously you don't want to take a hit with your feet off the ground. And he not always, it seems like half the balls he gets, he catches it with his chest or his body. He has to stop body catching. He has to stop jumping. Are you moving Quinnen by the deadline for a first? Or are you keeping him? No, you keep Q, dude. He's still a monster. Q is a monster. Regardless of stats, sacks, whatever, I don't care. He makes an impact. Q is a very, very good player. Yeah, no, you don't. For a first, for a 27-year-old, you talking about a first and another high pick for Q for trading him. But no, you don't get rid of Q. You can have him for another 3 or 4 or 5 years of him in as a top 10 D tackle. All 22 Drew, Sherwood and Qwood. I said Qwood. Quincy Williams treat our light box fits like we were maxed out. They over pursue and run through gaps pointless. Yeah, dude. Like they just gotta shuffle. Keep their hips more square. Play cutbacks. Like they just over pursue the shit out of everything. And a lot of the times, like they kind of let the offensive line dictate to them and try to avoid them laterally last second, kind of put themselves out of position. Sherwood sometimes too, like he'll approach line of scrimmage too quickly, and then he'll kind of take himself out of the play. Like there's times where he approaches too quickly, doesn't have enough patience. So, G-Dub is a great wide receiver 2, but an average receiver 1. Yeah, I think it's a fair statement. I think people will kill you for that statement. Like, oh, he's average. You got to understand that an average receiver is like a decent receiver 3 in terms of like technically, if you take the midpoint of all the receivers in NFL, it's like a good receiver 3. Saying he's an average receiver 1 and saying he's the 16th best receiver 1 in the league, which I agree with. He's an average receiver 1. Right? That's fair. He drops too many balls. He catches it with his body. How many times? And I'm not trying to shit on him. It just is what it is because he's frustrating at times. How many balls last year did he slide to catch? He had the Patriots game. It was like a deep over, a post route. He caught the ball with not nobody around him, but he had 2 yards and he slides to catch the ball and falls down. He could have ran in for a touchdown. Garrett's biggest problems are winning vertically, contested catches. I get the situation against the Texans, but that's not the norm. That's one play. So you can't just take one play and say, oh, this is the proof. He's played thousands of snaps. Winning vertically, catching the ball with his body, drops. He needs to improve. What are your feelings on Fernando Mendoza? I don't have any. Mike Saunders, I'll be honest. Sorry, bud, if you already answered the question. No, you're good. I haven't. I don't have thoughts. I'll be transparent. I'm a professional sports guy in terms of like football, but then obviously football, right? No shit. But then I watch the Mets pretty much every game. The Devils, the Nets, like I watch all their games. I really stay away from college. I like the atmosphere of college. I just don't like the product in terms of how good or bad they are. It's just like, going like a Notre Dame, Georgia Tech game, and Georgia Tech runs the ball 95% of the time and players dropping, which the Jets do anyway. But I watch professional sports, so I don't watch a lot of college. So I don't know if I've even seen Mendoza take a snap, just being transparent. Will I have thoughts on him in the offseason? If he's a legitimate candidate for the Jets to draft, no doubt. Obviously, I'll watch him. But in terms of me watching college football, like I'll watch the big games. If you got like Alabama, LSU on a nighttime, I'll watch it. But past that, wrong guy. I was high on the offensive line entering the season. How disappointing on a 1 to 10 level. So like 5 is mildly disappointed, I guess. Like, I don't know. You had ABT come out at a 3, 4, 3.5. I'm not really disappointed. Membu's been playing really well. Had an excellent game last week. Tippman's been awesome at right guard. I think Myers has been better than we've all expected at center. Simpson is what he is. He's volatile. One nice play, one bad. He whiffs in pass pro too much in terms of like passing stuff off, but that's the norm. He did that last year, even in a good year. So Simpson has been Simpson. And then Fashanu, yeah, he struggled a little bit more than I think most people expected. But also with that being said, if you watch my review of Fashanu, again, it's great to have, a track record, not a track record, a paper trail. I said, I think people overrated Fashanu's last year. I said, I think he was more average at best as left tackle last year. So he's been mildly disappointing. But again, like I said, when you're holding the ball for 3.5 seconds, the stats are going to look like shit. So like he allowed whatever it was, 3 or 4 pressures week 1, but I watched him like, yeah, he was good week 1. He was good. On week 2, he was, okay. And then last week wasn't great, but yeah, 3. I'm not disappointed in anybody. Membu, above expectations so far. Pittman, above expectations. Myers, above expectations. Simpson, 2 expectations, and Fashioning slightly below expectations, but Fly Guy, if we go 0-5, I'd tear this thing apart and stack up some ones. Yeah, like trading Q though. Like Q is a guy you want to build around. I understand trading guys who are not going to be here. But Q is somebody you could build you're building with. Like not long term, but he could be here until he's 32, 33 years old and still be a very good player, good guy to have around. I understand trading guys like, guys who are not going to be here. Cisco, great. Hey, if you want to take the rest of the contract, fine. They overpaid him from the jump. You can trade Stevens, which no way because of the contract. Quincy's not going to be here, most likely. Trade him. Brees, okay, trade him. People like that, yeah, I'm fine with, but I'm not getting rid of Q. You still need your foundational pieces to build with, right? You can't just dump everybody and say, hey, we'll trade him for a first round pick, hoping that the first round pick that we get for him plays like Q. And I get the age thing, but it's just not guaranteed, so I wouldn't do it. Jets are going to get killed by Hill, Waddle, and A-Chain. Must get pressure on Tua. Yeah, get in their face, get pressure on Tua, stop the running game. If you let them play in space, you're screwed. If you don't stop that running game and they get the play action game going and they're working in space, it's game over because they're over pursuing on Jags. I'm not calling Bucky everything Jag just in general. In the last couple of weeks, Hill, Waddle, and A-Chain are. I'm terrified of like the screen game and it's like swing past the A-Chain because the Jets' pursuit has been brutal. Speaking of Allen, why did Allen? I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know why Allen is returning kicks. I have no idea. I rather have Arian Smith. I'm trying to remember midnight shifts, but I think the trick was to not go to sleep and get home in the morning. The problem is childcare ability with me. That doesn't work for how my life is. Really, my trick right now is I get 5 or 6 hours. I'll try to get like 5 or 6 hours of sleep. My thing is like the first night I go back, I might take a nap before I go into work. But when I sleep in the morning, that's the sleep I get. My problem was when I initially worked them, I would sleep for 3 or 4 hours in the morning and then before work, try to sleep another hour or 2. But I think you then train your body to not sleep during the day because, who cares about sleep in the morning? I want to get sleep later on in the night. So if I sleep 4 hours in the morning, I sleep 4 hours. If I sleep 5, I sleep 5. So that's been my trick. It's been helping me a little bit because then when I worked midnights back in the past, I was sleeping for like 3 hours during the day and then maybe getting an hour or 2 at nighttime, where now it's like, okay, I get 4, 5, 6 hours straight in the morning. So that's my trick so far. But yeah, oh my God, I flew to Los Angeles 2 days ago and it's really affecting my sleep. It's like, oh my God, man, shut up. Dolphins defense is so bad so bad it doesn't matter if they stack the box against a good O-line and good running backs. The Bills have struggled against the run and they stack the box against a good O-line, good running backs, and couldn't run the ball for shit. Right? Like the Dolphins have talent on the defensive line. They do. So yes, it does. It does matter. If the gaps aren't there, the gaps aren't there. Like, yeah, to a certain extent, if they're not good, yeah, you'll still get some holes and stuff, but if they stack the box, they stack the box. Watching Clemens over pursuing a review is mind-boggling. What could they actually see him? Yeah, exactly what you said here. Aside from being thin at the end, that's what it is. Because at least Clemens has there's some flashes in the running game at times. I'm setting a decent edge. Again, flashes, heavily emphasized flashes. McGregor has done absolutely nothing either. So, and it's my problem with Muji is we all said in the office, all of us. We're saying DN depth, and they did nothing but drafted. They traded up for Barron, who, has not played really. Said it for years. Brees Hall is not a good receiver. He can catch the ball. Can he, Mike? I think he led running backs in drops last year. If not led, he was towards the top. He had 6 or 7 drops last year. So can he catch the ball? I don't know. I don't even know if he can catch the ball because he didn't last year. And he had a ball over the middle that he alligator armed because there was a linebacker or safety there. So I know Will McDonald. I just said that. Decently, Will McDonald did. Like, he forced a hold on a really nice spin move, but past that, he's kind of absent. Yeah, never mind. You answered it. Breathe Truther. I had to like Google what truther means. Does that mean just like supporter, like a Brees? Yeah, I guess a true. I don't know where that term came from, like originated from, but if you're a truther, wouldn't that mean you're telling the truth about them? So aren't I a Brees truther, saying that he's overrated as a pass catcher? I don't know. Just join again. How does Brownley's ability to tackle change the balance in our backfield once he starts? In our backfield once he starts, change the balance. The thing I will say about Brownley, his main strengths, and again, I put up the highlights of him early on the stream. Bill, there's a review coming out of him tomorrow. I put a shit ton of plays up on Twitter, so go on Twitter if you haven't and check them out, or check out the review tomorrow. He is a ridiculously good tackler. He's ridiculously physical, and again, very different players, but very Jamal Adams-y in the box. That's what he reminds me of. He's just a psychopath. I love it. Really good versus screens and all that stuff. Spotty in coverage. There's really good reps of him in man coverage. Then there's reps of him dropping his weight on his heels, being overreactionary to moves and then getting burned. It happens. So he's a little bit spotty in coverage, no doubt. He's a chess piece though. If you want to play him a little bit strong safety, I could see it, big nickel looks. So basically what I said before is he's going to be involved in like big nickel looks instead of playing a linebacker, that third linebacker, because they don't have them. They're going to put Brownley is like a quasi strong safety slot type hybrid role, I believe, at first, and then kind of play him back up to Carter and the outside with Stevens. And if they continue to struggle, he'll take either one of those spots. But he's kind of like a jack of all trades. Again, as an outside corner, I like him in coverage more because he's better when he's pressing on a guy and gets hands on quick. When he's in more space, he panics a little bit more. But in the slot, he's more involved in the run game. So there's negatives and positives to both. Yeah. I think that's it. There's another point I want to make there about him in coverage, but I'm forgetting. There's actually some really good reps of him in off coverage, but really his biggest problem in coverage is jump splitting, which I go over in the review, locking his hips out and then getting beat. And then holding. Holding is a big problem. Like, there's a play he had. It was 9 on the Patriots last year. Was 9 on the Patriots last year? Was that Juju, or who was 9 on the Patriots in 2024? I don't know. He gets a hand on him, like he stems him to the inside, and he does a really good job matching it, and then gets his right hand into the shoulder, and instead of just keeping the hand on the shoulder and pushing, or getting the hand under the hip and pushing him, he grabs a shoulder pad and just extends him, and like completely unnecessarily grabbing the shoulder pad. Instead of just riding that hand out and keeping it flat and not actually grabbing. So there's times where he holds unnecessarily. Like, I understand if you hold because you're in a disadvantageous position. Struggle with disadvantageous there. But when you're holding just to hold, like, you gotta fix that up. And transparently, times like there's some bullshit calls. Sauce Gardner, I criticize him this game. The 3rd and 29 was bullshit. It was bullshit. What was happening in that play is you have Mike Evans up the right sideline. Mike Evans has full extension into Sauce Gardner. So Sauce Gardner is trying to hand fight and get his hand over top of Evans and knock the hand down. And then they call Sauce in the hold. So is Sauce supposed to just let him have full extension and catch the ball? Because if you can just fully extend the guy, time the ball, and then catch it at the last second, they're going to win every time. Same thing with the receiver, like with receivers versus corners, like throw-bys. So like you'll have receivers who are like, okay, they stem to the inside, the corner's on the outside shoulder, and then the receiver will put the brakes on, use a throw the receiver by them, or the corner by them, and then break to the outside. The corner then responds by trying to grab them and get back on the route, and it's a holding call. So the receivers can throw the corners off of them, but then the corners can't grab them. So how do you win as a corner in the NFL today? It's impossible. It's impossible. Like, it's such bullshit that he got called for that hold, pass interference, whatever. And that's why it pisses me off watching George Pickens, because he exemplifies what's wrong with the NFL in today's day, in my opinion. Watching him play, like, yeah, he's a good contested catcher and stuff, but there's so many times he pushes off of guys and catches the ball because he knows the rules. I hate watching George Pickens play. I hate it. Like, I hate it. What's up, Danger Zone? I got a couple more minutes here. Defensive line. Q fine, Phillips fine, linebackers a little bit better this game. Sherwood spotty, but better in the run game. Quincy some highlight plays, but bad in pass pro. Safeties were garbage. All of them. Sorry. Malachi Moore, truthers. He was not good in this game. PFF said he was good, but he was not. And all the corners sucked. There we go. Joe, not hell. It's all good. How much blame did the players get? Yeah, I answered this question already. There's a lot to this conversation. How do we quantify it? What are they telling them? Is it individual performances? Like, again, I can't know if Wilkes is saying, hey, Quincy, if the 2 becomes the 1 goes to the flat, you have the curl the flat there, you got to find the 2. If you butt up on play action, you got a robot, you got to find them, match the 2, match the 2, match the 2, match the 2. He goes out in the field, doesn't match the 2. How's it on Steve Wilkes? Now, to the other side, if Wilkes is not teaching him that stuff and not emphasizing that stuff and he blows the coverage, then it's on Wilkes. But unfortunately, I'm not in the room, so I can't tell you. Like, does that make sense? But overall, it's all of them. It's some of the defensive calls, which I highlighted before. I don't want to do the entire conversation again. And then there's individual performances where guys have just not been up to par. And that's most guys. I don't think, and maybe 2-3 guys have been up to par. Phillips, Briggs, and Q. Past that, nobody's been playing to or above expectations. More carries to Brownley. Give me more carries to Isaiah Davis. I think Braylon Allen's another guy that fans overrate a little bit because of the size and stuff. But like, again, good numbers last week, but he was running into light boxes because they were playing prevent. Does DC Wilkes have a good? Not like, yeah, because of how long he's been around, but I would say initially looking into him, I was like, oh, like great, like head coaching experience, like good experience as a DC. But past that, like I started looking into some people's like opinion of him. People were like not the best. So I would say an okay reputation, but not great. Rekka M, if the Jets finish the season with the 6th pick, QB or best player available? QB. If you have to trade up, you got to trade up. They got to get a QB. Unless you go to a situation where, or you have a situation where there's no QBs there, like again, oh my God, Drew Allar last year, Drew Allar, Carson Beck, Drew Allar. Neither of them were there. Neither of them declared because they both were not good. This year, you have all these guys, Archer Manning's supposed to be great, Hurt or whatever, he's sucked. And like all these other guys who are, Nussmeier or whatever has been like, I guess not great or whatever. Like, I'm not the biggest college football guy, but every year, next year, the quarterback, next year, the quarterbacks, this year, 5 quarterbacks. Those 5 quarterbacks have quickly seemingly dwindled down to like 3. So it's a situation where you don't really need, the quarterbacks all suck. Then BPA and draft the quarterback late first, trade up, second round or whatever. Or you wait till next year again, but ideally you get a quarterback. This is not the answer. This is not the answer. Let's see. Encouraging line. Yeah, it's been if the quarterbacks hold the ball for 3.5 seconds, the numbers are going to suck. That's the short of it. 14th against the pass right now, and 23rd against the run. Dolphins 21st against the pass. I don't know, dude. Billy, they are on pace right now to give up the most points in franchise history. Regardless of what the numbers say, that's another number. So like we could talk about stats and stuff, but how do you combat that? If they're averaging like 30 points a game against, and I know this game they had you had the fumble which led to a field goal or whatever. You had the pick 6, which I get that, but also I can then negate that by saying the Bills put up 30 last week because they took their foot off the brake in the 3rd quarter and they could have scored 50 on us. So the defense is on pace to give up the most points they've ever given up in franchise history. And against the past 14, I don't know, dude. Like I showed plays of them just completely blowing coverages. It just, I don't know. 5 hours, I barely get 4. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. So I'm like, you feel my pain, but for the people, I got 7.5, not 8 today. I'm really struggling. Out of the box idea, trade Breece Hall for Alex Pierce. Both are free agents. Next year's free agent class is terrible for positions we need. I would consider it. Right, fine. But why are they going to trade? Why are they going to trade a receiver? They're number 2, 3 for Breece when they have Taylor. That'd be my question. But yeah, they need a legit receiver too. Again, that was the Jets fans bitched consistently the most about receiver depth, D-end depth, tight end depth. That's what we bitched about. And Gibson being on the roster lost his game in week 1, and Clemens being on the roster. And I think he's the worst player in the NFL based on how many snaps playing this many snaps, he's the worst player in the NFL. I can see him on the base. I don't know, man. Potential, the Jets are just forcing. I'll be honest though. Again, Braylon Allen, a lot of the plays that he's getting yards on. It's like really either open or that he's running into light boxes. Like watch the runs again of him last week, and it's all just light boxes and him hitting like the very first read. I think Isaiah Davis has been more impressive in terms of like setting guys up, seeing holes, things like that. Davis has been the better running back to me. I think Allen again has more potential, ceiling, but in terms of who's been better so far in their career, it's Davis to me. I think Allen's generally a little bit overrated by fans, while also acknowledging he has a high ceiling. Okay, is that fine to say? You're thinking 23-13 Jets, Billy? I'll take that. I just think the Jets have the most advantage of the run game in this matchup. Hey, I'll take it. Again, it's just concerning that the Dolphins were in the game with the Bills, and we couldn't even sniff their ass, and they ran the ball on the Bills. We couldn't run the ball on the Bills. They have guys who are ridiculously fast, and we over pursued like shit. So I don't know. We'll see. Spencer going from Buffalo to Tampa Bay. It seems like there was at least an attempt to disguise more. Yes. This week was a lot more on the players and Wilkes. Yeah. I think the two really bad calls from Wilkes, and like we can get to nitpicking all that stuff. I think two things. One, the play on the screen late in the game, you can't put two corners over three guys and have them 15 yards back and load up the box with 8 and tell them you're blitzing and then expect to make that play somehow. And then the 3rd and 29, not giving Sauce and another corners help over the top. Run cover 2 there, not 3, and isolate guys deep. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Allen Avital 35 to 20. I could see it too. Like I don't know, man. I really hope not, Allen. God, because then you go to Dallas and like, oh my God, that's a must win. They don't have CeeDee Lamb, but still they stomped our face in Dallas. Obviously, different team and stuff, but I could see it. Jets. The Jets over pursued the shit out of the ball, and they got guys who are fast as a motherfucker. So, like I said, if they're getting the ball quick, if they're running the ball, they can set up the play action and they get the pass going. It's going to be a huge concern. You got to hit Tua. You got to force them into a turnover. I know something the Jets have never done, at least this season, is force a turnover. So they got to do that. Take advantage of him being a little bit spotty this year with his reads and stuff. Stop the run game, get in their face. Hit them. It's hard to judge the Jets really because they've faced. But like, Billy, is that a little bit of a cop out? I think it's a little bit of a cop out, dude. I do, because like realistically, like our expectation was to compete, and for 3 quarters of this last game we didn't compete. For the second game we didn't compete at all. Like I'm not asking them to even beat these teams necessarily, but show me more than consistently blowing coverages. And I just put up a review where I asked my editor to put circus music to it because of how bad they over pursued. So like if they were just losing because of like lack of talent and losing individual matchups, fine. But blowing coverages, over pursuing, missing tackles doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're playing the Dolphins or the Bills. Like they just haven't looked competitive in certain aspects. So I do think it's a little bit of a cop out there to say, 3 straight playoff teams, because the Browns just beat the Packers. Like teams do it, they compete. The Bills game should have been 50-3. They could have scored 50 easily on us. They really could have. And in this game, it took a miracle. Actually 2 things. 1, a miracle block kick for a touchdown, and 2, Todd Bowles being Todd Bowles. Actually, multiple things. Let's be real. Drop passes from Mike Evans. Todd Bowles playing prevent in the 4th quarter, basically giving us 2 touchdowns. 14 penalties. Like they were trying to hand us this game and we couldn't take it. So playoff team missing Mike Evans in the 4th quarter, missing Godwin, missing 3 offensive linemen, 14 penalties, drop passes. Like they didn't play like a playoff team. I can tell you that. Ibuka did. Mayfield did. But, they overshot the post route deep. Malachi Moore got burned there. He got burned again by whoever receiver that was, the white receiver. Baker Mayfield, because of pressure, overthrew it a little bit. The Bucs really tried to beat themselves. Like they didn't play great in that game. The Jets just sucked that much worse. So I think it's a little bit of a cop out. Keys to this matchup, whether Miami still wants to play for Mike McDaniel. Speed kills, and I don't trust it. Yeah, I don't trust this defense against anything, but specifically speed. I'm with you. Just saying the NFL did us no favor. I'm with you. We can agree there. But just saying, oh, well, just playoff teams, we'll be better against other teams. Again, there's a lot more to that, in my opinion. I appreciate you saying the 23-6 Todd Bowles call off the edges. Dude, he did, which is a Todd Bowles special. Like, that's what he does. You know, hey, let these teams get back in the game, 14 penalties, drop passes. They try to give us that game. And we could not take it because our defense sucks ass. Like, we all knew. I heard the exact time. They blocked that kick, whatever. Minute and 48 seconds left. Was there one Jets fan who's like, oh, the defense is going to stop here? The first play, they almost got beat for a 65-yard touchdown. Which, again, and a little side note, Nick Folk, why are we kicking the ball into the end zone and giving them to him at the 35, making them gain 30 yards to get a field goal? What's that decision too? You know, so I appreciate you guys. Been on for, hour and a half, 12:01 a.m. I'm gonna jump off, but I appreciate the comments and all that stuff. Hopefully it's better next week. Hopefully there's better film breakdowns, all that shit. I'll be so negative, but realistically, what else am I supposed to do right now? Thank you again, and I will see you next time. Make sure to check out the review. The Brownley review will be out tomorrow, both short and long. If you guys want to subscribe, $3 a month for the long review. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you guys soon.